Hi, Freedom Queen, and welcome back to the Freedom Queen podcast. It has been a minute, and if you are an OG Freedom Queen, hi, it is so good to see you. It is so good to talk with you. If this is your first time ever and we are just meeting, it feels like our first date because this podcast has been around for 5 years, and this podcast was started because my now husband said to me, I think I want to start a podcast. And he got a mic for Christmas. And I said, you know what? Me too. And I went online, I Googled how to start a podcast, and I just started recording from my phone around the world. And in the last 5 years, this podcast has had over 100,000 downloads. And this year, I want to take up it a notch. I want everything to be high quality and high quantity. So this year on the Freedom Queen podcast, you are going to be seeing different seasons. So right now you are in season 1, and all of the episodes that I've produced inside of season 1 are around a very specific topic. So you can think about it like you're binging a mini course, right? Everything in season 1 is for you to watch or listen to, because now we have both the video and the audio. You can watch and listen to both of them and come back to this season and think about it in chunks, really. So you can do season 1, and then you can do our next season and the next season in chunks, rather than jumping around to just different podcast episodes all of the time, because all the episodes in this season, called The Art of Moving the Masses, is all on that core topic. Now, inside of this episode 1 of season 1, The Art of Moving the Masses, what I'm going to be talking about is becoming the light. Because in order to move people, in order to move the masses, you must become the light in the world. You must be the woman that when people look at you, they light up. And one of the things that people get wrong when it comes to moving the masses is that they focus so much on trying to move other people that they never end up moving themselves. And when you first start your business, you're probably like me. You were really excited to build the business. You are delusional. You're so light that you're actually kind of like blind to the reality around yourself. And you are light because you don't know about darkness. You're just light. And along the way of building your business, of achieving great success, of going on the most incredible adventure, you experience challenges and you experience problems and darkness and things that you didn't expect to achieve. I know that in my business, when I first started, I was kind of naive to certain problems that I was going to experience. I was so light that I was literally blinded by the light and couldn't see it. But as I started to grow, what happened is I started to experience challenges, hate, criticism, just problems that I didn't even know that were going to come up. And a lot of it came from outside people. And what I started to do is I let other people dim my light. And this happens a lot for people in business, especially when you become very influential and very well known. Like if you put yourself out there, when you put yourself out there, you are opening yourself up for a lot of criticism. People say that vulnerability is like crying on the internet and sharing the most terrible things about yourself. It's like, no, the most vulnerable thing I've ever done is actually go for it, is attempt to win. Like really go. That's vulnerable. And most people really aren't prepared for that. And that's why so much of my work is about, especially within this episode and inside of Freedom Queen, is about becoming a woman that you are alive inside, no matter what's going on around you. Because if you think that a certain amount of money is going to make you feel alive or be happy or feel beautiful or confident or like achieve something, you're never going to make it. You're never going to feel like you're complete, because money doesn't do that. What does do that, though, what does make you feel alive is being the light. And like I said, the beginning of your journey, you are so the light. You're so the light, and people like are usually cheering you on because they're like, go girl, you got this in the beginning. And then you start to achieve success. And as you begin to achieve success, people that don't like you being too much of the light, now you're the darkness. They're like, we don't like your light anymore. Stop being so light. Stop being so successful. We don't like your light. And now because you're at the top of the mountain shining and they're still wherever they are and they don't like that. And usually at that period, again, is where you start to put the lampshade, the glasses, the umbrella, the dimming of you. And in doing so, that only stops you from becoming the greater light that you're meant to be. I remember in my business, I had just started making 100K cash months, and I hadn't done my first $1 million cash year yet. And my name was really starting to blow up all over the internet. Like everybody was joining my programs for the first time. I selling out all my masterminds. And I started to feel the way that my light affected other people. I started to feel the offense. I started to feel the hatred, the criticism. And sometimes the worst darkness of it all is your own darkness, like the things you tell yourself, the way you overthink, the way you procrastinate, the way you think that you're not perfect, the way that you're so hard on yourself. You put so much pressure on yourself. And I started to do that. Really, I started to do it really badly to myself. And I remember during that season, I pulled back a lot. Like I really took a lot of time off. Nobody really knew it on the internet, but I was just not showing up as big as I do to this day, or as I knew I could at that time. And I'll never forget this. I was in a hotel in the Plaza in New York. And I remember I just finished a leg set. It was leg curls that day. And I stood up and I looked in the mirror and I said, you can decide to become a bigger version of yourself now. And I did. And I chose in that moment to not let myself dim, to not come this far, to only come this far. Like I knew that I had so much more value to provide in the world, and that if I stayed stuck and small and dimmed and I never thought like it was good enough, I was making amazing money. Like at that time, it was very new to me. And then I was telling myself like it's not enough when it was amazing. But that's why I said to you at the beginning of this episode, if it's not enough now, it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. So my mission then became, okay, how alive can we be? Like how free can we be? How full of life can we be? And I started to have to every single day do certain things that made myself feel alive. Like I had to work overtime. I was like, waking up in the morning, doing my hair and makeup, getting dressed up. I would stand in front of the mirror. I would do this routine where I would listen to this music and pump myself up and get myself in the zone like any great athlete would. And then I would go run my business, have the time of my life, make sure I was in a great state, run the company. And I started to notice that my light came back. And my light came back in a much bigger way. I invested $50,000 into a year-long mastermind. I signed up for all of these events. I was in other mentorship programs. Like I just started doing everything. I was like showing up to the calls, going to all the events, waking up in the morning. And I started to see my light come back in such a beautiful way. But the reason it came back was because I chose to do things that were going to help me, like being around people that were more successful than me at the time, like exercise. It's a great one, like hiring a trainer, working with people. I also, I'm trying to think about other, like just that simple thing in the morning where I would wake up and get dressed up and I would do my hair and makeup and have that dance party in my bathroom and like tell myself like, you are the one, like you can do this, because I had to. Some people are like, don't be so extreme. Don't really push for it. Like, be soft. And I'm like, no, some of us need to save ourselves. Like some of us need to have radical and honest conversation with ourselves and say, are we actually showing up to the fullest extent that we can? So right after that, It was like a month later, I hit my first $1 million cash year. And that year, I felt like quitting. Like, I remember that year, I was like, I could just do 900K cash for the year and that'll be fine. And I didn't want to do that, but I felt again that shrinking feeling. And I'm so happy that I did invest in myself. I did get in those rooms. I did sign up for all these events to go to, because that then really changed the next year. Because the next year, my company blew up to $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000 cash months the very next year in 2024. So, and the reason why I was able to move everyone is because I became the light. And I share that story with you because I think it's so easy when you're at the beginning of your business to be the light. Like when someone's starting out and they're getting their wins for the first time, it's like, oh my God, yeah. But what about the people that are like, okay, so I've been in this for a while. I've been building this thing for a minute. Like, I want to find the light. And when you find your light, I find that it's a coming home to yourself. Because when you come home to yourself, you are essentially like going back to the purest, most innocent place of you. You don't care what people think of you. Challenges arise and you're like, it's no problem. Of course that happens. It's the cost of doing business. It's a part of it. It doesn't really affect you that much. You have haters and you're like, who cares? Like, come hang out with me, haters. Things don't really affect you. And that's the same thing when you're a kid. Like when you're a kid, you're very light, right? They're very bubbly. They come into rooms and everybody looks at a kid when they walk in their room because they're so fun and they're so full of life and they're so innocent and they don't know if they're going to offend you. They just say it like it is. They're at home to themselves. And over the years, you start to then cloud yourself and you start to overthink and question, are you good enough? Are you whatever? And when you're a kid, you just don't think that way because you're just a light. So becoming the light is a lot about coming home to who you are. It's a lot about coming back to faith and God and this purity and this presence and this untouchable, undeniable quality that everything that you want is already yours. That is the light. And the reason why light works so well is because light leads, but darkness spins in circles. Have you ever observed a conversation and they're talking about negative things? Energetically, it doesn't feel like they're going anywhere, right? And usually they're not going anywhere in their life, right? They're not progressing forward. And then you speak to someone that's a light and you have a conversation with them and you leave that conversation, you're like, maybe I can do this. Wait a second, like maybe this is possible for me. You start to feel like, ooh, like you literally have in the body this forward motion that you want to go with them. You're like, what are you on right now? I want to be a part of that. So that is a light and a dark feeling. And so light leads. Like literally, you think about it, light paves the way. If there's a dark alley, you shine the light, it paves the way forward. Versus darkness, it just spins in circles. It doesn't really go anywhere. And that's the same thing with leadership. People that are lights make more. Because if you want to move the masses, you have to shine the light for them to follow. You have to be the person that's paving the pathway for them. And that means then that you have to be the light all of the time. And I get it if you've been through some things. I get it if you've said to yourself, I don't want to be the light anymore. I've been there. I've been through those seasons where it's like, I don't want to be other people's light. I've been through the seasons where your own darkness is not other people, it's you. Like you're your own worst critic. You're the person that is telling yourself the worst things. You're the person that's putting pressure on yourself. You're the person that's telling yourself you're not enough. You're the person that doesn't press post because you're worried that's not good enough. It's you. You're the darkness and the light at the same time somehow. Simultaneously, you're both of them. I've been all of those things. But You did not get put on this planet to live in darkness. You were put on this planet, and God called you to this planet to live in the light, to be the light on the hill. My husband and I, we have a company in Costa Rica, which is one of the places we live. We live in Costa Rica. We have 2 houses in Costa Rica. In Puerto Rico, we're about to get a house in Puerto Rico. And right now we're in Bali, which is just amazing. We spent some time in Asia. But anyways, our company in Costa Rica is called Light on the Hill. You're meant to be the light on the hill. And by the way, becoming the light does not have to be something that's complicated. It doesn't have to be something that's like, I'm going to find the light and it's going to take you 6 months to get there. I love what God said. God said, let there be light. And then there was light. There was no friction in between. There was no overcomplicating it. It was like turning on a light switch. Let there be light. And then there was light. And maybe you're watching this right now and you've had different seasons of your life where you've been the light, but now you're ready to become another version of the lightness. You want to become more charismatic and magnetic and happy and glowing and healthy, and you want to dream. Like, you want to really feel everything that you've experienced, and you want to feel everything that you've created, and you want to feel free. Then it's time for you to be the light. Be the light. Being the light, becoming the light is an active choice. It's a decision that you have to make if you really want to reach your fullest potential. Because your light is like a life force. It is something that people will look to. It is something that you will look to. And you'll say, I'm so glad that I decided to become the light. I'm so glad that I decided to wake up. I'm so glad that I decided to stop sleeping and just going through the motions, but to become all that you can. And it starts with you being the light. This episode is a part of season 1 inside of the art. The season is called The Art of Moving the Masses on the Freedom Queen podcast. And if you got value out of this, then you would also really enjoy our book club. So our book club is a monthly subscription. And inside of it, I do a private call. It's a private live stream on Zoom once a month. And I go deeper into these topics. We do Q&As, we do challenges, we do workshops. And when you pay in full for the entire year, you get a free signed copy of my book that is launching in November. And you also get to come to the in-person launch party that's happening in November. So if you love this episode, make sure that you click below to join the book club. This is your time to become the light. Not because you need to move other people, because that's the plot twist of moving other people. The plot twist of moving the masses is that in order to move the masses, you must first move yourself. You must move yourself to do something new. You must move yourself to have new conversations. You must move yourself to put yourself in the room. You must move yourself to have a better workout routine. You must move yourself around the world. In order to be the light, in order to move other people, you must first be the light and move yourself. So, Freedom Queen, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep living in darkness? Are you going to allow yourself to be the darkness? Are you going to listen to your own inner critics and all the critics around you? Or are you going to be someone who chooses to be the light, to come home to who you really are? And coming up on our next episode inside of this season is all about the dark side of becoming the light. So if you fear becoming the light and getting hate and criticism or cancelizations or people that once loved you turning on you, then you're going to love the next episode, because in the next episode, I'm going to be diving into criticism and hate and all of the dark things that come with being the light. Okay, Freedom Queen, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.